Yes, geezers, Speci here. Very excited to bring you this video talking about the finer details of battle mode. It has just been confirmed in this article written by Kent Eric Hagman, who is a developer at Second Dinner, responsible for designing battle mode. I'm very fascinated by this article as it talks about the design process, some of the iterations which did not make the cut with battle mode, and overall just gives us more details on exactly how it's working. Battle mode is due to come out on the 31st of January as going to be the centerpiece to the competitive scene and tournaments in Marvel Snap. We do have a image of what battle mode is going to look like in game. You can see below the avatars there are health bars. Each player has 10 health. The first player to lose 10 health and go to 0 health loses. You deal damage to your opponent by winning a game, and it's equal to the amount of cubes that you get. So if you win 4 cubes, you deal 4 damage. You get me. All right, let's skim through the article. We are going to read most of it, but the early stuff is just like generally introduction. They say, when designing Marvel Snap, we wanted to make a fun, accessible card battler. However, we also wanted an ultra competitive way to play against friends. Something that takes gameplay, bluffing, and mind games to the next level. Enter our newest game mode, Battle Mode. Battle mode pits 2 opponents against each other through multiple rounds. Each player starts with 10 health. Instead of cubes, what's at stake is the amount of damage the winner will deal to the loser. If you can deplete your opponent's health to 0, you win. In battle mode, the stakes are front and clear. Every snap and retreat takes extra meaning, as every point of health is critical to remaining alive. Further, each player's deck is locked for the duration of the battle. This means you'll quickly learn which cards are in your opponent's deck, and they might be aware of what sneaky tricks you're hiding. Keeping track of what cards in your deck haven't been seen by your opponent can make all the difference in whether you can squeeze out an extra snap. Design philosophy, and I love this kind of stuff. When coming up with a more competitive head-to-head format for Marvel Snap, it was critical to us that we kept the ability to bluff and tactically retreat. If anything, it was important that we bring those elements to the forefront. We also knew that over a series of games, the mind games of learning and anticipating what was in your opponent's deck and their specific playstyle was something that would add a ton of fun. There's pure joy in knowing what your opponent wants to do and trying to guess whether they'll do what you think or feint in another direction. Finally, it was really important to have a mode where it was clear whoever the winner was and loser was. In a normal match, there's a lot of wiggle room for just how many cubes you win or lose by, and we wanted a definite winner. There are no ties in battle mode. Aside from proving who is the best among your friends, this will unlock the ability for the community to run Marvel Snap tournaments. Fantastic. Learning from mistakes along the way. While developing battle mode, we tried some things that ended up not quite working. We tried a bunch of different health values. We tried a mode where the reality stone transformed cards in your hand before each game. Developing in Unity, it was super easy to jump into and try out wild ideas. Early on, we saw players playing no cards in games 1 and 2 to scout their opponent's deck, paying a couple of health to gain critical information. Back then, health pools were much larger, so a couple health meant very little, and as we lowered total health, the first couple games could make all the difference. So really interesting, the health started higher, and that incentivized people to just not play any cards, which then result in a stalemate where both players say, we're not going to play any cards, and obviously that would be a big issue for the mode. Battle mode takes about 20 minutes, but in early playtests between 2 players who retreat back and forth for a series of 1 health games, it took much longer. To keep battles around 20 minutes, we added high stakes rounds, which kick in starting on round 5. High stakes rounds start with the stakes at 2 damage, so it's much more deadly. Now, if the stakes start at 2 damage, that means the first snap is going to raise the stakes to 4 cubes rather. The second snap to 8, and then if both players play that out, 16 cubes. So the high stakes round, if both players snap and it goes all the way, no one folds, the game is going to be over, which is quite amazing. Another thing we learned was that if players took some early beats and were 1 game away from running out of health, they could snap with impunity, since it doesn't matter if they end up at 0 or -6, death is death. We wanted to reward players for early victories, so now you cannot deal more damage than you have health remaining. I am so chuffed to hear this news. It means that coming from behind is possible, but those early victories aren't irrelevant, and the bluffing aspect of the snap remains intact, since your opponent cannot risk health that they do not have. So if you have been at infinite rank before, and you are at rank 100 exactly, you'll know that you cannot drop below rank 100. And what that means is the snap loses its value, really. You can just snap and snap and snap and snap, because it doesn't matter if you lose 1 cube or 8 cube, you're staying at that rank 100. It's the only cutoff barrier. So if you imagine just being at 1 health, suddenly that snap, you're going to do it every single time, because there's no difference between just losing 1 cube or 2 cubes. So now you're only going to be able to deal that 1 damage. So while it might still make sense to snap and try and make your opponent fold, it is, of course, you're only going to deal that 1 damage if you have 1 health. And also that means those early games are going to be very important. You don't want to lose a bunch of cubes early on. While you can make comebacks, it's going to be even more impressive for you to do so. So 2 amazing bits of news: the high stakes round starting at round number 5, and the fact that you can only deal the amount of damage that you have remaining. These are 2 details we did not know at all until this article. This is hot off the press. We're just getting started. At launch, Battle Mode will only allow players from the same matchmaking region to play against each other. We're working on global matchmaking, and that will come a bit later. So this is a big bit of information that is going to be a problem for some community tournaments. For example, I'm going to be going to New York City to play in a community tournament. I'm in Europe. A lot of the people there are going to be in America. So there's going to be some hurdles to jump there with exactly how that works. However, as a player from beta, I do believe, and this is certainly not confirmed, there's some kind of global matchmaking system perhaps for some people, because I can play against European streamers like Ordinary Harry, Raven, but I can also play against North American streamers like Jeff Hoogland and Dara, for example. These are people that I queue into routinely. So not certain exactly how that's going to work. However, Ben Brode has also tweeted out some details on this, saying that when you go into battle mode on the menus, it will tell you what your matchmaking pool is in. So for the beginning of battle mode and the tournaments, you're going to have tournaments locked to regions, which is a shame, but I'm sure that's something that Second Dinner are going to be working on as soon as they possibly can. Wrapping it up, we're very excited to get battle mode out to everyone as soon as we can. This has truly been a labour of love, and we can't wait to see how players enjoy their first cut of battle mode. Second Dinner's Marvel Snap is now available on PC, iOS, and Android. For more inspiration and resources, visit Unity's Creative Games Hub. And big shout out to Kent Eric Hagman, who wrote this article and is obviously behind it. Down here, we've got his Twitter. I'm going to link it. I'm going to give him a little follow because this is an absolute banger. Okay, apparently I'm going to tweet it out. Okay, we're not going to do that. But a great article. Check it out for yourself. To summarize then, we get a insight into their design philosophy where they want to have a competitive mode where it's going to be a lot of fun, but also snapping to and from, bluffing. No more than about 20 minutes is the time limit they set on it, so you can't just retreat for 1 cube. That's amazing. We also now know the high stakes mode is going to kick in after round 5, where it starts at 2, so you can go up to 16 cubes of damage in that mode, which is quite intimidating. And finally, we have also learned that you cannot deal more damage than health that you currently have. So 3 things that I'm very, very happy about indeed. They're limiting the amount of time it can be. We've got that high stakes mode to incentivize that, but also really up the pressure, up the ante. But most importantly for me, this decision to make sure that the snap is always going to hold value. This is crucial, in my opinion, to the competitive integrity of the game, because otherwise you just snap all the time. Whoever's in the lead doesn't necessarily have an advantage for their hard work, and it just could come down to, oh, I'm on 1 health, my opponent's on 8, I'm just going to snap and snap and snap, and then I win. You know, that would be pretty lame. So great article, great insight. I'm very excited for the 31st of January. If you like this video, give it a like, and make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Snap content. Cheers.